Hello everyone, I'm Michael, and today, I'm going to tell you a story. What is the weirdest advice you have heard that is strangely effective? Story 1. To improve your posture, pretend that you're shooting lasers out of your nipples and trying to shoot people in the head. Story 2. How to unclog your nose. Close your mouth and pinch your nose so you can't breathe. Shake your head up and down until you need to breathe. Remove your hand from your nose and breathe through your nose, not your mouth. Been doing this for a while now, and it's pretty effective. Story 3. Holding your breath for a prolonged time is extremely effective at getting rid of a boner. Instructions are clear. Do not hold your breath until you die, or you may end up getting your boner back. Story 4. If looking for something in a low-light environment, try to use your peripheral vision. I read about it in an old WWI manual about aerial combat at night. It has something to do with how eyes work. It has helped me many times over the years. For finding stuff in a darkened room, or outside in a field at night, not aerial combat. Story 5. Fail quickly, as in, if your plan may not succeed, better to find out next week than next year. Help me quit a suffocating job and dig into my own business 10/10. Story 6. Get someone to warm to you by asking them for a small favor, not asking to do something for them, but asking them to do something for you. I have no idea why this works, but it does. Story 7. Counterintuitive maybe, but it helped my anxiety immensely. In general, no one cares about you, what you're doing, or gives you a second thought once you're out of their sight. It really helped me to stop being self-conscious all the time in public. Story 8. To from elderly Southern relatives. 1. Something ain't nothing taking 5 minutes to work out, clean, work on a big project, etc. is better than 0 minutes. We often think we've got to do 2 hours of rigorous work or it doesn't accomplish anything. 2. Time will pass either way if you want to work to get better at something, accomplish a long-term goal, or change careers or credentials. Don't look at the 2 to 5 years and think you'll be too old. If you're 24 and want to go to college, you'll be 28 in 4 years with or without degree regardless of what you do in that time. Story 9. No one thinks about you as much as you do. Meaning we're all worried about people thinking about the tiniest embarrassing things we do, when no one really cares. It gave me freedom to take on more challenges and not worry about failure. Story 10. For all my ideas or other who struggle with executive function, do chores while waiting. Have something in the oven? Let's see how much laundry you can fold before the timer goes off. Microwave? I bet you can empty the dishwasher in 90 seconds. On a phone call, pop in those earbuds and let's tidy while we talk. I get so hung up on waiting mode and the novelty of trying to accomplish a small task during that interim feels a bit like a deadline pressure, which is basically the only thing that motivates me. Tricking my brain into a mini productive panic is startlingly effective. Story 11. Sucking at something is the first step to being sorta good at something. Honestly, it's deflated the embarrassment of making mistakes when learning new things. It's okay to suck at something on your way to okayness. Story 12. Make them tell you no. It's great when you're not sure if you should apply for a job, go for a promotion or a raise, or do something you're afraid of. Don't be so worried about getting told no or failing. You'll surprise yourself. Story 13. I tell my daughter to add the word yet after anything about lacking something. I don't know how to play this game, becomes I don't know how to play this game yet. That sort of thing. It's meant to redirect negative self-admonishment into a drive to grow and learn. And apparently, it's sinking in, because she will say something like, "Ugh, I can't make it up this hill," while we're out bike riding and then catch me looking at her, give a big eye roll and go, "Yet," in the exact tone you think a teenage girl would use. Then she ends up sometimes just rage succeeding to prove the point. It's great. She's going to be at least 3 times better than me, low as that bar may be. Story 14. Put a small stool under your feet when pooping to mimic the natural squatting position. Changed my life, literally. During the first week after my discovery, I had a strong urge to tell all my family and friends about it, but had to restrain myself because of how weird that would sound. So instead, I'm sharing this advice with you. Story 15. Blinking twice when reading info from textbooks to sort of mimic photographic memory. Works for me for some reason. Story 16. Wash your clothes with vinegar to remove smells. If you forget wet clothes in the washing machine for too long, they'll smell like mildew. Washing them again doesn't really take the smell away for as many times as you try. Wash them again with 1 liter of white vinegar, no detergent. Do not use balsamic vinegar or whatever, and somehow the end result won't smell to mildew nor vinegar. Just like pure clean, wash clothes. I expected the vinegar smell to remain, but those clothes were a write-off on my book, so I tried anyway, and they came out perfectly. Story 17. There was a guy I met at a family-friendly pub once. He was busking and he had a straw sun hat and mismatched socks. He chatted to my family and came to learn I was deaf and wrote me a letter that says, "Sometimes it's better to be deaf because the world isn't listening." And for some reason, that's always stuck with me. Story 18. There was a guy I met at a family-friendly pub once. He was busking and he had a straw sun hat and mismatched socks. He chatted to my family and came to learn I was deaf and wrote me a letter that says, "Sometimes it's better to be deaf because the world isn't listening." And for some reason, that's always stuck with me. Story 19. Do it anyway. Don't think you'll succeed? Do it anyway. Don't feel like going to the gym? Do it anyway. Don't want to stick to the diet? Do it anyway. Don't feel like getting out of bed, taking care of your basic needs? Do it anyway. Don't think you'll like it? Do it anyway. Scared of embarrassing yourself? Do it anyway. Think the attractive person will reject you if you ask them out? Do it anyway. Obviously, don't apply this to things that put you in harm's way. But I've been lucky enough to live an interesting, in a good way, life based on this approach. Story 20. Do you understand that if you try to endlessly stack bricks, no matter how perfect you do it, they will fall over? My boss told me this after I burned out. Just says that no matter how well you plan your work, too much is too much. Story 21. Stressed, upset, panic attack, ennui. Put an ice cube in your hand. Move it around your hand until it slowly melts. It takes about 5 minutes. Primary effect. The cold on your skin grabs your brain's attention. You stop thinking about what was stressing you out and feel present in the moment. Secondary effect. The cold cools your blood, which goes into your heart and slows down the beating. As your heartbeat slows to maintain your body heat, your lungs breathe more slowly as well. It forces you to breathe, which calms you down. After 5 minutes of this, you will feel much calmer, if slightly drippy. Story 22. When walking among other people, there's a trick to avoid the annoying little who's gonna pass on what side dance, where both of you go left, then both go right, and then you finally pass. Pick a direction, and aim your face towards your intended direction. Like look to the left or right of them, clearly, turning your head in a single direction. This is a clear signal to people so there's no confusion as to which way you want to pass them. I haven't had that annoying dance since. Story 23. When I need somebody to share my feelings with and nobody listened, or nobody cares, happens often. I'm a man. I just make a person up. Sounds stupid, I know. It's just like an imaginary friend we had when we were younger. But it really helps. I close my eyes and start creating a person as detailed as I can looks, backstory, character, and so on. Sometimes it's a good friend, sometimes more something like a sibling. It is really stupid and strange, but it helps with most of my problems, and I'm sure it could help others as well. Story 24. My therapist said, "Yeah, doing the thing will give you anxiety. So you throw that bitch over your shoulder and take her along for the ride." Other therapists I'd had always focused on making the anxiety go away and distracting myself from it. He was the first person to ever tell me, it's okay to be anxious. It's okay if your coping strategies don't always work. And riding through it anyway even if you freak out later is brave as fuck.